Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. My name is Aprila Aurahmi with BP number 2210732005. And this is my answer toward to reading tax 3 in Introduction to Sociolinguistic, that the material is focused in bilingualism and multilingualism, and that uh, that my presentation belongs to the H question, and this is my question, that my presentation I will explain. Next, the first one in a question is divine bilingualism and multilingualism, and how do they differ from each other. And our divine is our bilingualism is referred to the ability of individual to communicate fluently in two language, while multilingualism is the ability to use more than two language proficiently. And how do they differ from each other? Bilingualism is the people that can communicate to use two languages, and while the multilingualism is the people can communicate with the other people uh, use more than two languages. Like bilingualism is Indonesian people can speak local language and Indonesian language, and while multilingualism, people can talk Minang language in home, Indonesian language in school, while English language for another purposes like is for administration. Next, the second one is what is the difference between simultaneous bilingualism and sequential bilingualism, and provide example for that. Simultaneous bilingualism is about learning to language from birth, and second bilingualism is acquiring a second language after mastering the first language. For simultaneous bilingualism is a child born to Minang speaking mother and Indonesian speaking father will speak both languages at home from infancy. And for sequential bilingualism is a child who grew up speaking Minang at home and then start learning Indonesian when begin at elementary school. And we can note that about the simultaneous bilingualism is a child who can speak two two languages at three ages, while the multilingualism, while sequential bilingualism is the one who can acquire the second language after mastering the first language. Next, question three is explain the concept of code mixing and code switching, and why do bilingual and multilingual individuals engage in this practice. The definition of code mixing is the blending of word, phrase, or grammar from two or more languages within a single sentence, while code switching is the alternation between two languages at sentence or clause level, depending on the context, audience, or situation. In some cases, a word or phrase is easier to say in one language than another, and they may also switch a language to suit their audience, such as speaking more formally in one language and casually in another. And can show cultural identity, help explain something more clearly, or even happen when they forget a word in one language. Next, and the fourth question. According to Ronald Wardrop, what are the key aspects of bilingualism and multilingualism in societies? There are five aspects that that key aspect of bilingualism and multilingualism can fit in societies. The first one is language choices. They are bilingual and multilingual, often switch between language depending on the context, intercolor, or purposes. And the second one is code switching and code mixing. They are common linguistic behavior where speakers alternate between language in conversation. 3. Diaglotsa. In some societies, bilingualism is structured with distinct language serving different functions. For example, for formal and informal use in societies. And the fourth one is language maintenance and SIF. This is some bilingual or multilingual communities face pressure that lead to either language preservation or a shift toward a dominant language. And the last one is about language policy and planning. Government might support bilingualism or multilingualism through education and official language policy. Next, and the fifth question. Describe the concept of diglossia and provide an example of how it functions in multilingual society. The first one, we have to know about diglossia. Diglossia in some societies, bilingualism is structured with distinct language serving different functions. For example, formal and informal use. And for Indonesian people, many speak their regional language such as Minang, Sunda, or Bali, and etc. in daily life conversation. But Indonesian is often used in formal domains like business, higher education, and government administration. For example, in Sumatera Barat, uh, many local people use Minang language in their home, but in school they use Indonesian language to sociate with other people. Next, the sixth question. Why does Wardow argue that bilingualism and multilingualism are the norm rather than the exception in many parts of the world? Wardow highlights that bilingual and multilingual are not rare exceptions, but rather the norm in many parts of the world, reflecting the complex dynamic nature of language use in diverse society. And many regions have multiple languages due to historical migration, trade, colonization, and cultural interaction. We can take example from Malaysian. Malaysian people in daily life conversation use Melayu language and English language because historic they have story about colonization by England. So they use English and Melayu, use code switching and code mixing to daily life conversation. Next, the seventh question. How do bilingual and multilingual individuals navigate language choices in different social contexts? Like I said before, bilingual and multilingual individuals make language choice based on social context, audience, purposes, and setting. Like in Indonesian, Indonesian people use Indonesian to to uh, to education, administration, or government building, and to communicate with the others. Next, and the last one question. Please provide a real world example of one, code mixing, and two, code switching. The first one is the example of code mixing. This is the example. Tadi aku meeting sama klien membahas our new project. This is missing word or phrase from different language within a sentence. This is mixing Indonesian and English language. For Indonesian, tadi aku sama and membahas, while the English language is meeting client and our new project. While the code switching, The example is, minggu kemarin aku ketemu sama teman lamaku, and then I was surprised that she was pregnant. Switching between language as sentence or clause level, the speaker used Indonesian language and then switching to English language. I think that's all for me. Uh, thank you to the attention, and assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.